Welcome ladies and gentlemen to this video. We are going to go through Yubel Fiendsmith combos today. We did a Yubel combo video before, obviously pre-info and pre-Battles of Legend at the time as well. So we're gonna see just how worth it those Fiendsmith cards are, because they essentially add extra interruption onto your end board for free. And then, well, not for free, for quite expensive, $100 a card or whatever. But they also allow you to play through hand traps. So there's a lot of benefit that the Fiendsmith engine brings to your deck. And in this one, we're going to go through the one card combos that we went through before, which are Dark Beckoning Beast, Samsara Lotus, and Nightmare Throne. Except we're going to add in the Fiendsmith stuff. You can access it all directly through your extra deck. Like, you don't have to draw Engraver necessarily to get into your Fiendsmith stuff. And we're going to show what those extra deck pieces and the engraver in your main deck are going to get you onto your end board compared to what you were able to get before. The combo videos are going to vary a little bit based on your extra deck choice. So for the purposes of this video, this is the extra deck that I am assuming you're playing. Not everyone plays this extra deck. There's actually a little bit of flexibility in here. For example, in my deck profile, I wasn't playing the Lacrima, but for this video, I'm gonna pretend that I have it and kind of go through maybe what Lacrima can get you in different variations. The main deck is the usual one, okay? Everybody's playing the same essential like engine pieces or engine requirements. And yeah, we're gonna go through the combos today, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think and hope this is helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below. Let's go on and get into them. We're going to start off with the bread and butter Samsara Lotus one card combo, and we're going to see a lot of the pieces of this combo within the other combos as well, of course, because this is how you access your Yubel cards. But yeah, it'll be good to practice this one and then move on to the others. We're going to start with a normal summon Samsara Lotus, and we're going to tribute it to summon out our Spirit of Yubel. Now, a note for all of these combos, we're going to assume that our opponent does not have any hand traps, because we're on one card combos, and if we have, you know, extenders in hand, then maybe we can play through those hand traps if they were to have them. But for the purposes of this, assume they're on a board breaker deck, right? And we are going to try to set up the best board we can. On summon of Spirit of Yubel, we're going to activate to set the Nightmare Pain, and then we can activate the Nightmare Pain to pop the Spirit of Yubel to search out the Grave Squirmer. Spirit is going to summon out the regular Yubel. Grave Squirmer, we can now special and pop the Yubel on summon to summon out our Terror Incarnate. And we're doing that just because we want to get more Yubel names into rotation as soon as possible. And that means we can summon out more copies of Phantom of Yubel for extension or for protection easier in our combo, right? All right, we're going to link 2 here now into our Unchained Soul of Yama. Now, generally when we make our first link 2, we have to decide, do we want to make Yama first, or do we want to make the Moon of the Closed Heaven first, because these are both of our Link 2 starters essentially. So we want to kind of figure out which one is going to be better for us. In this particular case, you can do either one, and it will change your end board just a little bit and change your follow-up just a little bit, but I think the Yama route is a little bit better. We're going to go for the Yama here, and we're going to go Yama search the Sharvara. And from here, we're going to go into our first Phantom of Yubel, and we're going to do that by shuffling back the Terror Incarnate plus the regular Yubel into the deck. And from here, we're going to summon out the first Phantom, and this one, unfortunately, is not for protection. We're just going to link it off immediately for the Moon of the Closed Heaven. And here, actually, we have quite a lot of stuff loaded up in our graveyard if anything were to happen, if we were to get nibbed. But generally you do have a lot of follow-up at any point. We have Moon of the Closed Heaven on the field, which is basically doing nothing for us, so why did we just go through all of that combo? Well, it's because we've prepped all of our destruction pieces here as we want them. We have Sharvara in hand, we have Gruesome Grave to summon back the Spirit, we have Yama to summon back more stuff, so let's go ahead and see what we can do with this. I guess first action we can do is going to be link off this Moon of the Closed Heaven for the Fiendsmith Requiem. Once I find it, here we go, here's the Requiem, and now we're going to link that one off tribute that off to summon out our Engraver from the deck. Now you'll notice a lot of these one-card combos, particularly the Lotus, the Nightmare Throne, and the Dark Beckoning Beast, only use one Engraver. So if you're on a budget, honestly, a lot of people can play one Engraver and be just fine. Like, it just sucks to draw that Engraver if you're only playing one, because then you're not playing Tract, you're not playing Lurie, you're not playing other Engravers to summon out. But you can do all of these combos with just one copy of Engraver in your main deck, plus obviously the Fiendsmith stuff in the extra, but the extra deck stuff is relatively cheap. I digress. Moving back to the combos, we're going to banish the Gruesome Gravesquirmer to summon out our Spirit of Yubel here. And now we're going to activate Sharvara to pop our Spirit of Yubel. And then on resolution, we can use our Spirit of Yubel to summon out a Yubel from the deck. And then we can also use our Yama, banish the Yama, to summon out our Spirit of Yubel once again. Okay, so now we have 4 monsters on board to combo on with. We are locked into Fiends because we have the Sharvara on board. So we're going to take care of that. First, we're going to link off the Sharvara and the regular Yubel and go up into the Unchained Soul of Rage. We still need to get that into rotation. And now when Sharvara goes to the graveyard, we can go ahead and set the Abominable Chamber trap from the deck. Now, from here, we have a Light Fiend on board to use as material, so we're going to go ahead and link these guys off again for a copy of Fiendsmith Sequence. Here we go, and now we can use our Fiendsmith Sequence to shuffle back 2. Now, we have a couple plays here because we can be playing the TCG exclusive Aerial Eater, or we can be playing the Lacrima. So we're going to have to pick which one we go into. We do have enough material in the grave to go into Desiree, and that is another option as well. So I'll just show the Desiree combo quick. We can go ahead and shuffle back these 3. The Engraver, the Moon of the Closed Heaven, and the Requiem to go into the Desiree. And now we're going to link 2 here into an Appaloosa. And there we go, we have Appo for 2, Desiree. We're going to equip the sequence, Desiree for a negate 2 plus the chamber. This is the combo you're going to want to go for if you're afraid of breakers, if you're afraid of Dark Ruler no more, because this one actually plays through Dark Ruler no more. If they activate Dark Ruler, we're going to chain the Abominable Chamber and respond with a trap. And now, because we've responded with a trap, Desiree can activate in the same chain, because it's not responding to Dark Ruler, it's responding to the trap card, and then you can negate the Dark Ruler no more, right? So that's the Desiree line, but this is kind of a minimal interruption end board, which is still not bad. Appo for 2, Desiree, and Abominable Chamber, which is for Rage, for SP, still pretty good, plus 4 cards in hand, right? But let's rewind a bit, because that's not exactly what we're trying to get into in this combo. We're gonna stick with the Rage and the sequence. And instead of shuffling back 3 with the sequence, we're just going to shuffle back 2. We're going to shuffle back the 2 Light Fiend links into our deck. Now here we have 2 options once again. We can go into our Lacrima, or we can go into our Aerial Eater. And both of them will use the same material from our graveyard, shuffled back with sequence, but let's go ahead and look at the Lacrima line first. Okay, so Lacrima here is able to summon out our Engraver. There we go. And now we can link up into an Appaloosa here, and we can go Appaloosa for 3. And now what we can do is use our Engraver, shuffle back the sequence, summon itself back out, overlay on top of the Lacrima, and go for a DDD Wave High King Caesar. And if we look through our grave, we still have material enough for a Phantom of Yubel once more. So we're going to shuffle back the Yubel and Samsara D Lotus and go into our Phantom. So all of this is made with 1 Samsara D Lotus if you play Lacrima in your extra. But what if you don't play Lacrima in your extra? Let's rewind once again here. Now we're going to go for the Aerial Eater. Now Aerial Eater is able to foolish a fiend from your deck to the grave. Now honestly, in this particular combo line, we already have access to everything we need, so this Aerial Eater is not going to get too much value, but let's go ahead and see what we can do with it, right? So Aerial Eater, in this case, we're going to want to foolish a copy of Terror Incarnate, and that's because we're going to want a little bit more material to go into the Phantom of Yubel, and even though we have a Yubel and a Samsara all ready to go, we're going to want to do something else first, right? So now we can go ahead and link 3 up into an Appaloosa for 3. Here we go, and now we can shuffle back that Terror Incarnate that I was talking about before, plus the Samsara D Lotus, back into the main deck for a Phantom of Yubel. And now what we can do is go into our Aerial Eater, which can summon itself back out by banishing 2 level 6 or higher fiends of the same attribute. And for this, it's not a fusion summon. We can use our spent Phantom because that's not really going to do much in our grave. And we can banish the Yubel from our graveyard. And that's okay to banish the Yubel because when Spirit of Yubel is destroyed, it can summon from banished as well. So honestly, that's going to be fine. And now we do have one more Engraver summon, which we can summon out by shuffling back the sequence. And now we can, as you can see, overlay into the Wave High King Caesar. So you can get into the exact same end board, and you don't have to play Lacrima. Okay, so that's another reason I might be cutting Lacrima from my extra, but I do want to show the options if you are choosing to play it. Obviously, if you go into the Lacrima line, you can get an extra burn for 12, so I guess that's a little bit better, but in general, we're still ending on Phantom, Appo, and Wave High King Caesar with the Unchained Trap set, Unchained Soul of Rage in the graveyard. Okay, so not a bad end board for a 1-card Samsara D Lotus. Let's now take a look at the Dark Beckoning Beast combo. Okay, so the next combo we're going to get into is the Dark Beckoning Beast or the Opening of the Spirit Gates combo. And this is the exact same combo no matter which of these 2 cards you'll open after the first 2 steps. And it should become pretty clear about why that is. So, for example, if we open a Dark Beckoning Beast, we'll just normal summon that, activate our gates, and then gates will search us our copy of Chaos Summoning Beast. And then we're able to normal summon that Chaos Summoning Beast. So that's version number 1. Or version number 2, if we opening of the Spirit Gates, we'll activate opening, search out Dark Beckoning Beast. Dark Beckoning Beast can search the Chaos Summoning Beast, and then we can normal summon the Chaos Summoning Beast. So either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to start in this exact position, whether we actually draw Dark Beckoning or opening the Spirit Gates. Now, you might be looking at this field and say, okay, how do I get into my Yubel combos? Well, obviously, we're going to need to get Yubel stuff into the graveyard, and the best way to do that is going to be with Aerial Eater, which is the new card out of Infinite Forbidden. Or if you're on Lacrima and Beatrice, it's going to be pretty much the same thing, I think, but I'm preferring the Aerial Eater route. So essentially, we have to get into Aerial Eater to send one of our Yubel cards so we can bring it back with opening the Spirit Gates. And then there we go. We have the whole combo at hand. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and work towards that. We have Beckoning Beast and Chaos Summoning Beast on the field, and we're going to go ahead and link 2 into our Fiendsmith engine in the extra deck, because we need to get into the Fiendsmith stuff to get into Aerial Eater, and there's no point in going into Yama now because we have nothing to pop with Sharvara anyway. So let's go ahead and search or summon out the Moon of the Closed Heaven here, and then we can activate Moon of the Closed Heaven to summon out our copy of Engraver from deck. Now, last format before info, Dark Beckoning Beast would only really get you like Unchained Soul of Rage, but now we're going to have a whole lot more to work with. So link the Closed Heaven into Requiem effect, and that will summon out our Engraver. Now we're going to equip our Requiem to the Engraver and then send both away for Necroquip Princess. And this is another reason this Necroquip card is really good in this deck, is just because it gets you it allows opening the Spirit Gates or Beckoning Beast to be a 1-card combo. Okay, now Necroquip is on the field. We're going to summon back our Engraver by shuffling back our Moon of the Closed Heaven. And now we can link 2 into our Fiendsmith sequence. And this is going to be how we get our Aerial Eater out. We're going to use Sequence Effect to shuffle back 2 fiends with the same attribute to fusion summon our Aerial Eater, right? Our options are either going to be Engraver plus Requiem or 2 of these 3 cards. And I would prefer to shuffle back these Darks because Engraver in the grave is nice for follow-up. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle back a Necroquip and then also shuffle back a Dark Beckoning Beast This is my preference because I'd rather draw a Dark Beckoning Beast than a Chaos Summoning Beast. And we also want to leave at least one of these two guys in the grave for opening the Spirit Gates in case something goes wrong or we get interrupted. We can't get into our Yubel stuff. So for that reason, I want to leave one in grave and put one back, and I'd rather put back Dark Beckoning. Okay, so we're going to put those back and summon out our Aerial Eater here. And now Aerial Eater effect is going to activate to send a Fiend from our deck to the grave. And we can send our Samsara D Lotus here. Now, at this point, we're able to summon out the Samsara with opening the Spirit Gates, but I would rather just get as much through without playing into hand traps as we can. Let's go ahead and link off the sequence and the Aerial Eater for a Yama. Yama effect, search the Sharvara, and this will help us play through an imperm on Spirit of Yubel if our opponent is for some reason holding that. So, okay, we have our Sharvara in hand, we have our opening of the Spirit Gates. Now let's discard any random card. Let's call it our Effect Veiler that we might have in hand. We're going to discard the Effect Veiler to summon back out our Samsara D Lotus. And from here, we're going to be able to just kind of proceed with the Yubel combos that we probably already know. So send or tribute off to Samsara, bring out the Spirit of Yubel to activate the Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain, pop the Spirit of Yubel. Search out the Gruesome Grave Squirmer, summon out the regular Yubel from deck. Now we can Gruesome Grave Special, destroy the Yubel on resolution, and then summon out the Terror Incarnate. Okay, so from here we have 4 bodies on field, and our goal is to end on Appaloosa plus a Unchained Trap set, plus a Varudras, ideally, right? And then a Phantom of Yubel, of course, on top of that. So let's start to get some of our materials into the graveyard. We're actually going to link off Yama and Grave Squirmer first for our copy of Unchained Soul of Rage to get that into rotation. And now what we can do is use Squirmer to bring back our copy of Spirit of Yubel. Okay, and now we're going to have access to our Sharvara pop plays. We have Yama in the grave to bring back extra cards. So I think right here we'll shuffle back the Samsara D Lotus and the Yubel into the deck to summon out our copy of Phantom. There's no real reason to wait at this point. And now we're going to use Sharvara to pop our Spirit of Yubel and summon itself out. Our Spirit of Yubel will activate, and our Yama can also activate. So we're going to summon back out the Spirit of Yubel with Yama, and then summon out our regular Yubel with the Spirit. And now we are cooking, and we have to decide, do we want to leave the Sharvara on the field, or do we want to pop it on res with the Yama? And I think in this case we can just leave it on the field, because here what we're going to do is, well, I messed up the zones a little bit. Let's pretend this one is here. We're going to link off our Sharvara and Terror Incarnate for a copy of Moon of the Closed Heaven, and that will allow us to get rid of our Fiend lock here and clear the Sharvara off the board, and we're going to set the Unchained Trap. From here we're free to summon whatever we want, so we can go into the Varudras without a problem, and now we can link 4 into an Appaloosa. It's only for 2 negates, but it's still pretty good. So here we have Phantom of Yubel, Appaloosa, and Varudras with the Unchained Trap set. And we have Engraver follow-up in the graveyard, and then we also have another Phantom of Yubel access because we have Terror Incarnate we can shuffle back at some point once we get this Yubel into the graveyard. So we have a pretty easy route to Phantom of Yubel on turn 3. Okay, the next combo I'm going to show is the 1-card Fiendsmith Engraver combo, and with just Engraver plus any normal summon, and by normal summon I literally mean like a hand trap, we can get into pretty good Yubel combo. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this with this 1.5 card combo, like Engraver plus any hand trap normal. Because obviously if we had a relevant normal summon like Samsara or Beckoning Beast or whatever, we would have a completely different combo, but I'm going to show you what just one Engraver can do. So we're going to go ahead and activate our Engraver here, search out our Fiendsmith Tract, and then we can activate the Tract and add the Lurry and then send it to the graveyard. Now our Lurry will special itself out, and we can link off into our copy of Requiem effect to summon out a second Engraver from the deck. Now you'll note that this combo requires more than one engraver in your deck. The other ones did not. So if you only own one engraver, well then this combo might be a bit different, or you're going to need different things. But anyway, we're going to summon out our second engraver with the Requiem, and then we're going to equip the engraver with the Requiem and then send them both for a copy of Necroquit Princess. And now we can use one of our engravers to shuffle back our Lurie or our Requiem. I think the Lurie is fine, and summon out the engraver here. Now, just like last time, we need to foolish a Yubel piece so we can summon it back, except this time we don't have a opening of the Spirit Gates to allow us to actually do that. So let's see what kind of combo we can pull off. We're going to go ahead and link 2 into a copy of Fiendsmith Sequence, and then Sequence is going to shuffle back 2 Fiends of the same type to bring out our copy of Aerial Eater. So in this case, we have to shuffle back 2 Light Fiends, so we're going to shuffle back a Requiem and an engraver, and then go into our copy of Aerial Eater. Aerial Eater effect is going to send a copy of Samsara the Lotus to the graveyard. There we go. Now, in some builds, you might be playing Muckraker, okay? So in that case, you can just go ahead and link 2 into a Muckraker. Muckraker can bring back the Samsara the Lotus, but in that case, you're locked into Fiend monsters, and that's not ideal. So let's go ahead and see what we can do with that. We're going to go ahead and link 2 now into Yama instead. Yama is going to search us our Sharvara as usual, okay? And this is where we're going to need our normal summon, because ideally we're going to want our Yama in the graveyard to be able to summon back out our Samsara the Lotus when we destroy something. So in this case, it's going to be worth it to commit to normal summoning the Effect Veiler, linking off into our Unchained Soul of Rage, and then we can use our Unchained Soul of Sharvara to pop the Rage to summon itself out. Now when Rage is destroyed, we can use Rage Effect to add a Fiend back to hand, and then we can banish Yama to summon a Fiend. Since we've already normal summoned in this combo, we're going to summon out our Samsara the Lotus, and with Rage we can add something back to our extra deck or to our hand. So we could add back Engraver to hand, but that's not great because we've already gone through Tract, and that's our one and only Tract. So honestly, we can probably put back our Necroquit Princess here, because that is going to be pretty solid follow-up for next time. Now that we have Lotus out, you know what we're doing. We're going to tribute off the Lotus, summon out our copy of Spirit of Yubel, Spirit of Yubel effect to set, and then we can activate the Nightmare Pain, pop the Spirit, search out the Gruesome, summon out the regular Yubel, special out the Gruesome, pop the regular Yubel, summon out the Terror Incarnate. So now we have 3 cards on board with a little bit of follow-up in the graveyard here. We do have access already to our Phantom of Yubel, and we might as well just go ahead and use that now with the Yubel and Samsara if we want to make sure that stuff resolves, or we can wait till this Terror Incarnate goes to grave, because that's a better shuffle back, right? From here, we're honestly a little bit limited, but we can just go ahead and link off our Sharvara and our Squirmer to the graveyard into a copy of Moon of the Closed Heaven. And we have to really go into Moon in this case because we're locked into Fiends, and this is our only good Fiend link too to get stuff into the graveyard. Now at this point, I would just shuffle back the Yubel and the Samsara the Lotus, and we can put those back into the deck to summon out our Phantom. Or, you know, it doesn't really matter in what order we do this, but it just will result in different things in our graveyard. But anyway, we're going to banish our Gruesome Grave at this point to summon back out our copy of Spirit of Yubel, and then we can link 4 here into an Appaloosa for 3. So honestly, this is not like a fantastic end board, but oh, and then don't forget to also set our Unchained Trap. So this is a pretty solid end board for just opening up an engraver. When it comes to getting into Yubel stuff, we have Phantom of Yubel for 1 negate, we have Appaloosa for 3 more, and then Unchained Soul of Rage set up. Plus, we have another Phantom of Yubel set of materials in the graveyard. We have a Rage in the graveyard. We have Aerial Eater ready to go in the graveyard, plus Engraver access next turn. So that's a lot of follow-up. And we only use 2 cards in hand, so we should have 3 more in theory. But yeah, that's going to be our 1-card Engraver combo for the Yubel strategy. Okay, the final one card combo that I'd like to go over is just the Nightmare Throne combo. And before info, honestly, the Nightmare Throne combo was kind of insane because it lets you get into Varudras and all that kind of thing. Now, post info, what Nightmare Throne in practice is doing for you is letting you do your full Samsara D Lotus combo, but while protected by a Phantom. So, you know, even if you can get a little bit of extra interruption or different interruption, what this really allows you to do is play more safely through hand traps. So I'm just going to go through this one a little bit quicker for you today. And I know there are some variations of this combo, like if you want to go into Desiree, or you want to go into Varudras, if you want to go into, you know, Wave High King Caesar, you might take a little bit of a different path, but I'll just show you one example of a Nightmare Throne combo for you here. So we're going to go ahead and activate it, of course, and search out our copy of Samsara D Lotus. Now, I will note, if you already have a Samsara D Lotus in hand, what you should be doing with this Nightmare Throne is just instantly popping a Spirit of Yubel, summon out a regular Yubel, and then just shuffle them right back in for a copy of Phantom, and that way you are protected for the rest of the turn, okay? And that way your normal summon Lotus can't get hit by Ash as easily because your Phantom will be there and all that kind of thing. So if you have both Throne and Samsara, just go right into a Phantom with the Throne. It also plays through Droll very well, because you can have this Phantom up for Droll the first time you search. Even, you know, you might not even want to use it on Droll in this particular case, but I digress. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's just say all we have is Nightmare Throne. We're going to normal Samsara, tribute it off, search out our Spirit. Spirit is going to place our Pain. Pain is going to pop our Spirit, search out our Gruesome Grave, and then Spirit's going to summon out Yubel, but also Throne is going to search and summon out our Terror Incarnate. So this one, in this case, we have a few extra bodies on board than we have one extra body on board than we did for the Samsara D Lotus combo, and that means we don't have to use the Phantom of Yubel as link material, and we can just keep it on the field to protect, right? So the next play we're going to do is going to be linking off for a Yama here. Yama effect, of course, is going to search us our best doggy, Sharvara. You guys probably know where that's from. Leave it in the comments below. And then the very next play is going to be our 6th summon. We're just going to shuffle these guys back for a copy of Phantom. Okay, so now we're protected from nib the rest of the turn. If they wanted to nib us on the Yama, that's also okay. We still have Phantom in access. We still have Gruesome Grave summon access, which will get us into Spirit, Sharvara, blah, blah, blah. If they want to nib, that's fine. Anyway, assuming they have not nibbed, we have a Phantom and a Yama on the field. We have a Gruesome Grave and a Sharvara in the hand, and we're going to go ahead and special out our Gruesome Grave right here. Link these two guys off into our Moon of the Closed Heaven, and we're going to look very similar to the first Samsara D Lotus combo that we watched. We're going to be able to now go Gruesome Grave here, summon out our Spirit of Yubel, Sharvara pop the Spirit of Yubel. Spirit effect is going to summon out our regular Yubel, and now we have to get this Sharvara off the field because we are locked into Fiends. Oh, also when we pop the Spirit, we're going to banish the Yama to summon out our Spirit back. So now we have these cards on the field. I think in this case, we're going to want to go link off our Moon of the Closed Heaven into a copy of Requiem. There we go. Requiem effect can summon out our Engraver from the deck. Awesome, and now we are cooking. We can link off this Sharvara plus something else. We're going to have to use the Sharvara to make a Rage because we haven't put Rage in the graveyard yet. So in this case, we can probably link off Sharvara and Yubel into a Rage. But it also kind of feels bad because you want to be able to go into Varudras. So it's kind of up to you whether you want to make Rage or Varudras at this time and what kind of end board you want to craft, because honestly you have a lot of stuff available to you. You can go for a 3-mat Appaloosa, you can go Rage plus Varudras, or we can go for Appaloosa plus Unchained Wave High King Caesar, which is the combo that we did before. This is the combo we did in the Pure Samsara D Lotus combo. Okay, and because of how this end board is kind of set up and what extenders we have left, we're kind of forced to go into the Rage with using one of our, like, Yubel or Spirit of Yubel in this case, and we're not going to be able to go into Varudras with just the 1-card combo. but it'll be okay because we still end on a solid board. So we're going to go for the Rage here, and of course our Shavar is going to set the trap card, and now we can go into the sequence with our Engraver plus our Spirit of Yubel. Here we go, and now we can use our sequence to fusion summon. So in this case we only have 2 Light Fiends, so summoning a Lacrima is not going to do anything because our Engraver will be shuffled back in. So instead we can go for the Aerial Eater play by shuffling back our Samsara plus our regular Yubel here. There we go, and summoning out the Aerial Eater from the extra deck. Okay, this is alright. We can go now into our Engraver, summon back the Engraver by shuffling back the Requiem, and then go for Wave High King Caesar plus an Appaloosa. So that is one possible line that we can do. And that probably is honestly going to be our best play. So in this particular case, we ended on the same end board as Samsara D Lotus, and that's fine with me because we were able to keep a Phantom of Yubel on the field the entire time, and we still have a second one for follow-up, whereas in the original Samsara D Lotus combo, we had to burn through both Phantom of Yubels. Well, I'm playing 2, you might be playing 3, and it might be okay, but I preferred to keep this one on board the whole time and, you know, feel a little bit more protected in the plays. So, yeah, that was the 1-card Nightmare Throne combo, same as the Samsara D Lotus combo, but with more protection. Let me know what you guys think of this combo in the comments section below. But that's going to essentially wrap it up for the 1-card combos. And the 2-card combos are a lot of the same. And by 2-card combos, I mean either Samsara, Dark Beckoning Beast, or Nightmare Throne in combination with a Engraver. And basically just opening Engraver in your hand very much more easily allows you to go into a Fiendsmith Desiree. So you might be wondering, hey, where's Desiree on all of your end boards? I thought it was this awesome end board piece. Well, if you don't open Engraver in combination with your Yubel stuff, then it's very difficult to have enough material for this Desiree, or it's very expensive, or you know, you have to make Desiree instead of multiple interruptions that you would otherwise have. So that's where the Desiree is. But if we open 2-card combo like Lotus plus Engraver, we can probably get into a bit more because we're going to have more Light Fiends in the graveyard. We're going to be able to basically put up like Varudras and Wave High King Caesar most likely. So we're going to have whatever materials that we're missing to go into whatever pieces we want and not worry about keeping the 2 10s on field for Varudras, keeping the 2 6s on the field for High King Caesar. We're going to have bonus bodies because opening the Engraver will get us that Lurry, will get us extra Light Fiends into the graveyard and allow us to do a little bit more. So that's going to wrap up the combo video for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully this was useful to you. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this setup in my living room today. Just wanted to change it up a little bit, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you guys in the next one. We'll see you soon.